Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today I'm finally showing off the Ranger. It's honestly, it's not a bad ship, don't get me wrong. It's very similar to the Ruho. The only real main difference is just the individual planes as well as the damage potential with the dive bombers. So starting off, I'm actually divvied up with a few of my clanmates, Wheeze and Wreck, in the Pensacola and Bajani. And starting off, obviously, we're going to see if we can try to find the enemy destroyer. There's actually only one destroyer. Now, I can't remember whether or not this was pre-nerf to the HE rockets. I don't think it is. So do keep that in mind. This might not be the case. Now, there are, in fact, two CVs in this battle, and pretty much it does look like there doesn't seem to be a destroyer over here, as far as I can tell. We're currently being focused down by the Boas and the Belfast, so not really in a good place for this, so we're going to try to get in a different position. Now, once again, the major difference, and obviously there's minor differences in like the planes, the health, the damage potential, but probably the most notable is going to be the dive bombers. Dive bombers are going to be causing fires. They're not armor piercing, they're HE dive bombs. So they actually hit pretty hard. They do cause fire, but they obviously don't cause that citadel. So the benefit of the dive bombers, especially if you get on destroyers, it is quite powerful. Now, unfortunately, that attack squadron was kind of wasteful, didn't really get any potential damage. There was really no particular target that was, susceptible to an air attack, so I did recall them. I did switch over to my torpedo planes because the destroyers, in fact, is over at A. It is a Nicholas currently capping, but is going to get away from that, unfortunately for us. So, going to try instead use my torpedo planes, try to get a little bit of damage. Now, I have noticed, and this has been on like my Shikaku and my Ranger, is the dispersion sometimes isn't as bad as you really want to think. So, as many people are probably aware, whenever going in for attack such as I am, your dispersion is very, very wide. And unfortunately, I'm flying right over a hood. But we do get a hit on the Belfast, which is actually really nice. But the dispersion is fairly wide. And certain times, your dispersion can actually be fairly straight on. So it just really depends. Yeah, you do want to try to hold it there as long as possible, just to ensure that you get the most accurate drop whenever going in. But at the moment, we're struggling a little bit over at sea just because we are not in a really good position. There's almost 4 ships there, and we only have obviously the Bajoni and Pensacola and Friendly Good Nights now slowly coming over. So things aren't looking so hot. And yeah, this is probably not the best target, this group of targets. But I am trying to support my div mates in this battle, so that's why I am sticking over here. And especially considering there's 2 CVs, the CVs can split up their potential damage by the map, so you can do that whenever possible. I actually do land a hit, but we are kind of losing planes quite rapidly, and obviously taking really big steps in the other direction. Now, this is something you really got to keep in mind whenever playing CV, is knowing your position, knowing when it is actually a good idea to pull a little bit away. So that is obviously what I am currently doing. Now, the Belfast has smoked up, and that does mean we can't really do much with them. So instead, I'm going to try to get rid of that Nicholas, if at all possible. Now, the enemy team's actually doing really well. They're currently ahead 2 caps. But we have taken out one of their cruisers, with the potential of taking out their Nuremberg and obviously also their Nicholas. Coming over here, do see that the torpedo planes are coming down this direction. Didn't quite know, so I am actually going to go ahead and drop a plane. Does look like the Nicholas is taken out. which is actually really good. Don't know what this Colorado's really doing, but it does look like he's might be pushing middle, which is kind of beneficial. So instead, I'm actually going to go ahead and switch once again my target. Now, this may not be the most beneficial or better use of my planes, because there's a large amount of time when I'm not really causing any damage. But it's going to be difficult no matter what you do, because a lot of these targets are fairly grouped up, so do have to keep in mind. And I kind of mess up. Let's see if we can actually get some rockets on that Leon. I actually do get a good hit. I actually get a decent fire chance, which is actually really super nice. And unfortunately, we're not going to make the final drop because, of course, there's all of those ships right there. I almost said vehicles. I'm a little tired. Work was not particularly fantastic today, so I might be a little bit off whenever speaking right now. But once again, coming back in with our torpedo planes, and as you can see, since we lost the majority of our squadron last time, we haven't had enough time to recoup and resupply our torpedo planes. So we are currently down one plane. That's something you got to keep in mind, is you really don't want to just charge in and just lose all your planes, especially low tier. It does take them a very long time to just get their planes back. And once again, I'm going to try my best against the Hood. The Hood does have rockets, so that is something to keep in mind. Actually, let's see. Can we get at least a dive bomb on this Hood? Should be able to get decent at almost to 8,000 points of damage there. Not going to be able to get anything against this, boys. I don't think. We're going to lose a lot of our planes. Yeah, look at that. All gone. Didn't have any chance to drop. And that's because of just DPM's been increased on just normal ships. So you're going to lose planes fairly quickly whenever going to battle, especially going through a lot of AA, so do keep that in mind. I don't think this captain has that many skills on it. I think he's only maybe 11 or 12 point captain. We do see Fijic fairly alone, so obviously we're going to focus him and make sure you get plenty of lead, because I've had a lot of instances where I don't give enough lead and my torpedoes don't really do that much damage. Now, one other good tactic is not trying to go back around for the same attack. Switch your target, spread out your damage. We do get a flooding on that Fijic, but I don't think he's actually going to stick. Let's see if we can get flooding on this Colorado. That would be nice. Unfortunately not. Only do around 5,000 points of damage on that attack run, but we do get the Fijic. Flooded him out, and that is actually our very first kill of this game. And once again, look at this. Our dive bombers, we only have 2 in this squadron, and that's once again just because we lost a majority of our planes during several attack strikes. Now, the enemy team isn't doing so hot right now. We've taken control of A. They still maintain C, but they've lost half their team, and they're not in a very good position right now. Once again, coming in to harass the Colorado. Colorado is by himself, so a very good target for CVs. Let's see if we can get a little bit. Oh, nope. Probably not. Going to miss that, yep. That's something you gotta keep in mind is, and this takes practice. This is something you just have to practice whenever playing, is when it is time to actually initiate the attack strike with your dive bombers. And that's why I really think they should switch it over to what the UK, the British CVs have. And I think it's a little bit more easier and less frustrating. And I know there's some players that probably have this more down, but anyone that's new, it takes a lot of practice to know when to initiate the attack strike with your dive bombers. Get a semi-decent hit. Did get 10 HE rockets, but we only did around 2,000 points of damage, and that's just because the size of the HE rockets. So once again, they're not really big damage dealers. They're more focused on just getting fires and also attacking destroyers early in the battle. This Colorado is going to go down. I'm going to see if I can kind of snipe the kill, but unfortunately we lose all our planes, and that is not meant to be. So, yeah, that is unfortunate. And once again, kind of running into the issue of just our planes are not all the way up to full capacity. I think we only have 3 in this squadron. Yep, looks like the UI is bugging out a bit. Do apologize for that, but not much I can do there. But we should hopefully get another attack. Now that Belfast is still around. You can see he's in smoke, and I probably should actually focus down this Leon. He is a fairly lone ship, a semi, but does have actually really decent AA, so got to make this attack quick as possible and give enough lead, because the Leon's actually a very fast battleship. And that's something you do really have to learn, is just what ships are fast. I don't think we're actually going to get the Leon. Oh, nope, we actually managed a hit. We do knock out his engine, but once again, doing no flooding. So it does, obviously, very incapable of getting flooding sometimes. That's frustrating at times, especially when you're playing a IGN ship and your only real main potential of getting dot damage is your flooding. Your HE rockets can get, obviously, fires, but that's not very common. And unfortunately, this Belfast is currently in smoke. Can't really see him. Trying to aim for the AA, but unfortunately we do miss. And we do obviously see the Rangers. They're not in a really good position right now. So at this moment, we're just going to try to help out, try to take them out. We do have our HE rockets. Don't have a lot of them. And this is kind of the thing about CVs, is later in the battle, you're going to become a little bit more limited, and that's really main focus as to why CVs can no longer carry battles as they once did, because they're just very limited on really long-term damage. You're gonna lose a lot of planes very quickly, especially if the team decides to group up. And yes, I know I've been facing off against a lot of AA ships, so it's really no surprise. And unfortunately for this enemy team, they're just going to go down. They've just lost one of their Rangers. The other one is beached himself and is now getting focused and farmed by the friendly Atlanta. And all that's really left for them is the Belfast, but obviously there's not much a Belfast can do. That's a big difference between World of Warships and World of Tanks, is you really can't come back from this. Once you get to this point, there's no way they can come back. No way at all. And it does look like the CB is trying to go after us, which is actually very amusing, especially considering I do have a Colorado coming back in behind me. But yeah, not overly a bad battle. I don't think I'm actually going to get any hits, because I'm very limited on the number of torps I have. And yeah, waited a little bit too long right there. I probably should have actually just dropped them, see what happened. But any moment now, that Ranger is going to go down. Now, my thoughts on the Ranger is this: it's a fairly strong tier 7 CB, just like its counterpart, the Ruho, but I think it has the advantage over the Ruho just with the ability with its die bombs and actually getting fires. So not a bad battle, fairly quick and short. And that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys have learned a little bit from this replay. I know I'm not particularly an amazing CV player, but I'm still learning, and hopefully it will get better as the days go on. So thank you guys so much for joining in. If you like what we saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.